Now then up and welcome to this video. Please join me on a flyover at the unmistakable hilltop Barrows at Minninglow. The Roman road, the street, also the course of Derby Lane. And a possible site of the long lost pub, the Piper's Inn. If you're wondering where we are, this is England. Manchester is top left, Sheffield top right, while Stoke is bottom left with Nottingham and Derby bottom right. Minninglow is sat below the centre, and the map is courtesy of OpenStreetMap with a bit of fiddling by me in QGIS. Looking away from Minninglow we see the hamlet of Pikehall, famous for Artington cheese, harness racing and the Why Not Festival. That dark smudge making its way up the screen is the rough route of the Roman road, the street and more latterly Derby Lane. Somewhere down there is a guide stoop. Now if you know its location, please let me know. The road running up the screen connects the A6 at Cromford and the village of Winster with the A515 at Newhaven, the turnpike to Winster being made some decades prior to the Cromford leg. Making its way across the landscape is the former Cromford and High Peak Railway, now the High Peak Trail, with the twin limestone embankments at Minninglow now apparent. The farm between the two embankments is Minninglow Grange. Now, anyone interested in walks around the High Peak Trail, this book might interest you. It's available at selected retailers throughout the Derbyshire Peak District and from the link in the description. Ahead at the crossing of the lanes is the route of the street, the first section of which I've wound up the speed. There's a small but active quarry coming up on the right. The High Peak Trail is clearly seen, also to the right. The windmills ahead are at Carsington pasture. And ahead is the unmistakable Minninglow, which is visible for miles around. Coming into view you'll see a yellow stripe, and beyond a broad path making its way up the hillside. These are the visible remains of the street and Derby Lane. Now, at this point I'm going to stop you. Here's a map of the area showing the rough alignment of the street, Derby Lane, a few packhorseways, salt roads and turnpikes. Sorry, it's a bit of a busy map, and there'll be plenty of errors in it, since it's constantly evolving with projected lines becoming certainties and so on. Please pause the video and have a good look and place your comments below. Now this fella, John Ogleby, he was born in 1600 and carked it in 1676. He was among other things a cartographer. Now if you don't believe in time travel, here's a photo of him outside a pub similar to the Piper's Inn. Mr. Ogleby produced strip maps similar to this, which has been cleaned and transcribed where I can, and north is definitely not up. Off we go again at a lower level, but not for long. Now this may be controversial to the devout of the Dodds, peatland roads and trackways, but I don't agree with their placement of Derby Lane, nor their assertion that the Piper's Inn was one of the 4 in the hamlet of Oldwark, which itself is over half a mile from their route of conjecture. Ogleby's maps may be sparse by modern standards, however his measurements are fairly accurate, so we can say within an axe chuff that the Piper's Inn was around here, about a mile and a half from the Pikeham Inn at Pikehall. Flying above this possible location of the Piper's Inn, we see the land has been disturbed, probably by mining activity. Is that a cap shaft down there? If you know anything about the pub, and if that's a shaft or the mine's name, please leave a comment below. If our friends at the Peak District Mines Historical Society find anything out for me, I'll add it in the description below. Back to the street, we make our way up the hillside, worrying sheep as we go, with Minninglow on our right. As we crest the hill, the way of the road has firstly been subject to mining activity, and beyond obliterated by the plough. We'll continue at higher level along the wall line which serves as a boundary between Old Walk and Balladon parishes. You can see a sliver of Carsington water, with the Trent Valley way to the distance and hills beyond. As you see another limestone embankment of the former Cromford and High Peak Railway, you'll notice Galley Low Bowl Barrow beside Gallow Low Lane. Christ, if you can get that right, you've done well. The farm, you see, is Avonhoe and beyond Longcliffe and its works. As we turn for the return journey, you'll see the huge industrial complex of Slipperlow Farm. We'll have a look at the guide stope adjacent in another video. The edge ahead of us is Rockhurst Long and Bowl Barrows at its far right tip. Derbyshire cites many sources for this location, stating that the Bowl Barrow dates from 2350 to 1501 BCE and the Long Barrow from 4000 to 2701 BCE, with the cremation dated between 4000 and 701 BCE, give or take a few hundred years or so. Robbed, oh sorry, you were a posh lad, excavated and recorded, and in no way desecrated, by Bateman on the 20th of July 1849. With the lowering sun we can easily make out the man-made features, most of which is mining activity and of course Minninglow. The apparent route of the street stands out, its eastern edge being in shadow. Before we finish with a glide around Minninglow, do you reckon this feature a Rob Barrow, a natural feature or something else? Also, as we fly around Minninglow, Derbyshire records the possible settlement dating from somewhere between 4000 and the second Tuesday in January of 2351 BCE. Minninglow itself consists of a couple of bowl barrows and a chambered tomb. Tomb dates from somewhere between 4000 and again specifically 1501 BCE, and with a certainty of that date range, why bother with the one? Your answers, always welcome. And 2 bull barrows between 2350 and 701 BCE, or BC if you like. Bateman had his shovel in the tomb no less than 3 times in 1843, 1849 and again in 51. Of course, being a posh lad, he weren't nicking out. This was archaeology in its infancy. The cairn was carefully excavated for research purposes. Bateman having his trowel out on the 6th of July 1849, shortly before a very miffed Phil Harding turned up with Mick Aston sporting a very loud knitted jumper. And that, me duck, is it. I hope you enjoyed the trip and consider a like and subscribing for more. Ta-ra.